This is more intense than you think. Rewritten ultra-retention version. There is something deeply disturbing about the way Scorpio survives heartbreak. Not because you fall apart, but because you continue functioning while your inner world quietly collapses. You answer messages, you go to work, you laugh at the right moments. Meanwhile, an entire emotional universe inside you is burning alive, and almost nobody notices. That is what makes this month dangerous, because May is not bringing you another ordinary emotional lesson. It is forcing you to finally see something you have avoided for a very long time. Someone lied to you while looking directly into your eyes. And the terrifying part, you already know who this is. Your body knew before your mind accepted it. That's strange. Heaviness in your chest lately, the sudden exhaustion after certain conversations, the way your intuition becomes louder at night. That is not anxiety. That is recognition.
I can't stop
because
thinking about
Scorpio
you.
does not randomly become suspicious. Your nervous system reacts when your soul detects inconsistency. And lately, you have been detecting it everywhere. Especially in one person. You know the moment. You replay it constantly. The unread message sitting on your phone at 2:13 a.m. The typing bubble appearing. Then disappearing. Appearing again. Then silence. That silence said more than words ever could. And somehow, you felt abandoned by something that technically never even happened. That is how deeply Scorpio experiences emotion. You do not react to events, you react to energy. To emotional shifts, to hidden distance, to subtle changes nobody else notices. And this May, those changes become impossible to ignore. You may suddenly start remembering tiny details that once felt meaningless. A delayed reply, a colder tone, a smile that looked forced, a voice note you listened to 3 times because something inside it felt wrong. And what scares you most is realizing your intuition was accurate the entire time. You were simply trying to protect yourself from the truth, because the truth changes everything. Especially for you, Scorpio does not fear endings, you fear emotional humiliation. You fear discovering that you gave genuine loyalty to someone who only loved access to you. That realization cuts deeper than betrayal itself, and May drags that realization directly into the light. There is one specific night this month that changes your emotional direction completely. You may not even realize it while it is happening. You are alone. The room is dark, rain outside maybe, your phone screen glowing against your face, and suddenly, you see their name. Maybe they text you, maybe they view your story. Maybe you hear an old voice note by accident. Maybe a playlist starts playing that you have spent months avoiding. And for a second, everything comes back. The attachment, the memories, the emotional addiction. But then something unexpected happens. You feel tired instead of emotional. That moment matters more than you realize, because Scorpio reaches a terrifying stage in healing where the pain disappears before the attachment fully does.
I can't do this anymore.
And that emotional numbness can feel almost cruel.
This isn't working.
Especially when part of you still remembers how deeply you once loved them. But listen carefully. This month is not making you colder. It is making you impossible to manipulate emotionally. That is different. And not everyone around you likes this new version of you. In fact, someone close to you secretly fears your awakening, because your emotional intelligence is becoming impossible to control. You notice everything now. You notice when someone suddenly becomes defensive around your growth, when someone subtly competes with you emotionally, when someone wants your attention, but cannot handle your independence. And there is one sentence you need to hear this month, even if it hurts. You knew, and you stayed anyway, because part of you believe your love could heal what honesty never existed to fix. But Scorpio love is dangerous when directed at emotionally unavailable people. You become loyal to potential, addicted to emotional intensity, protective of broken people who never plan to heal. And eventually, you begin abandoning yourself to keep the connection alive. That is the cycle ending now. Not gently. Violently. Because May carries destruction energy for Scorpio. Not physical destruction. Identity destruction.
I can't pretend anymore.
The old version of you is collapsing.
It's all falling
the
apart.
Version that tolerated mixed signals. The version that kept rereading old conversations. The version that translated silence into hope. That version cannot survive where your soul is trying to take you next. And honestly, You already feel it happening. You feel it every time someone disappoints you, and instead of chasing, you emotionally detach. That is new, and it terrifies people, especially the people who benefited from your emotional availability. There is one shocking realization approaching you this month that changes how you see your entire past. Ready? Some people did not misunderstand your love. They understood it perfectly. They simply thought you would tolerate less than you deserve forever. That realization creates rage, cold rage, the kind Scorpio never expresses immediately. The kind that transforms silently behind the eyes. And after that transformation, people suddenly realize they no longer have access to you. But this is where the story becomes darker. Because this is not actually about love, not really. Love is only the surface layer. This entire transformation is actually about power, your emotional power, your intuitive power, your ability to psychologically see through people. And certain individuals around you are deeply uncomfortable because you are finally beginning to see clearly. You are starting to recognize how often you shrank yourself emotionally just to avoid losing connection. How often you stayed quiet to keep peace. How often you sensed deception, then convinced yourself you were imagining it. But your intuition was never wrong. You simply did not trust yourself enough. That changes now. And once Scorpio starts trusting themselves fully, their entire reality shifts. Rapidly. Dangerously. There is a moment approaching where someone tries to emotionally return to your life. Watch carefully how it happens. It will look casual. A random message. A reaction to your story. A late night thinking about you. Maybe even fake vulnerability. But your intuition immediately notices something unsettling beneath it. Desperation. Because people feel when Scorpio emotionally leaves for real. And by the time they notice, it is usually too late. That is why this month feels spiritually intense. Your energy is withdrawing from people who no longer align with your evolution. And the strange part, you are beginning to enjoy your solitude more than certain relationships. That realization changes everything internally. Because Scorpio does not detach unless something inside finally breaks permanently. And something has broken. Not your heart, your illusion. You no longer romanticize emotional inconsistency. You no longer confuse longing with connection. You no longer mistake obsession for destiny. That emotional clarity becomes almost supernatural this month.
Messages,
you will begin sensing lies instantly, not through evidence, through energy, a pause before someone answers, a shift in their eyes, the strange tone in a good morning text.
It's done.
The way someone suddenly changes behavior after realizing they are losing emotional control over you. You see all of it now. And honestly, some people are terrified you finally do. Because Scorpio who still doubts themselves is manageable, but Scorpio who fully sees the truth, unstoppable. And somewhere in the middle of this emotional transformation, something unexpected begins happening. You stop mourning the past, not because it stopped mattering, because you finally understand what it cost you to stay emotionally attached to it. Your peace, your sleep, your nervous system, your self-worth, and suddenly, you begin deleting things. Photos, messages, screenshots, old reminders you secretly kept hidden. Not dramatically. Quietly. Almost ceremonially. Like a funeral for a version of yourself that no longer exists. That moment will hit harder than you expect. Because Scorpio never deletes memories easily. You attach emotion to everything. Songs, locations, specific nights, certain perfumes, even silence, especially silence.
It's done.
But May is forcing you to choose between emotional resurrection or emotional repetition. And the universe is watching closely. Because the next choice you make changes your entire future. Not just romantically. Psychologically. Spiritually. Energetically. There is also someone new approaching your energy. But this connection feels different immediately. Not chaotic. Not addictive. Not emotionally confusing. And honestly, that may scare you more than heartbreak ever did. Because Scorpio became so accustomed to emotional intensity that peace almost feels suspicious. But this person enters your life carrying something unfamiliar. Emotional honesty. No mind games. No disappearing. No emotional manipulation. Just presence, real presence, and part of you will not know how to receive it at first. Because pain became familiar. Chaos became chemistry, emotional survival became identity. But this month begins separating true connection from emotional addiction. Finally, irreversibly. And somewhere deep down, you already know your life is changing. You feel it when the room becomes quiet at night. You feel it when old songs stop hurting. You feel it when someone's absence suddenly feels lighter instead of devastating. That is not emotional numbness. That is transformation. But before the universe fully opens the next chapter for you, one final emotional test arrives. Person from your past suddenly realizes your energy is disappearing permanently. And for the first time, they panic. Not because they changed, because they finally understand they may actually lose you. But by then, something inside you has already shifted, something irreversible. And in part 2, you discover why the person who once made you question your worth becomes emotionally obsessed with your silence the moment you finally stop needing them.